Hey everybody, what's going on? Emotempest here, and I'm finally able to bring you the Final Fantasy XIII starter deck updates. I'm sure you guys have already tested this and kind of found your things, but I want to talk about the two versions I was able to come up with, which is the Fire Ice, the Fire Lightning. I want to talk about some of the tech card that I think you guys, if you guys haven't thought of and stuff like that, as well as where my list is currently. I think this deck is strong enough that it's going to stay relevant for the immediate set. I know we just saw all the cards that came out for Opus 19, and I think despite where the meta goes, I think this is the rogue aggro deck that we're going to be seeing that's going to be able to check just about everything, right? Because before it was I want to say it was like Versatile and Avalanche, right? Those were your fast ones, and before that was Bart's Boca and stuff. I think the 13 OTK thing is gonna take that place for the next foreseeable future. But yeah, so let's talk about the Fire Ice one, which I had a lot of fun with, but it has problems for me. I didn't take too much time playing this one. I would say about maybe 4 or 5 days, grinding out some games, both at locals and on webcams and stuff. But the core is pretty simple, right? You have the Fang, you have this Fang, this Lightning, this Vanille, and that's it, right? Those are for the fire part. It's pretty much this always. We add the Sarahs because taking advantage of being able to have this cost 1, there's so much value for this. Being able to make your opponent discard and draw for 1 CP, you go super plus. This Godot is there to help keep these two stronger, while also trying to give something else haste, like the Orphan or Brandelis later. The Snow is just for the OTK. I don't actually like him. I think ultimately we could probably make this deck a lot better if we go try to go a more mid-range version with playing any of the other Snows or even a backup Snow. But the purpose of this Snow is literally just you drop Fang, you reduce cost, you pay this, you pay 2 to bring out Lightning. Next turn you go, right? And that's kind of what you want. You always want the Lightning to be able to come out. That's the downside to this deck too. Is having sometimes you have to preemptively have this Lightning out. Also, when you have the Lightning out, this card kind of sucks. So I found that to be the case. So that's kind of like the main parts for your. This is like the utility that you kind of try to develop so your opponent, so you can get around your opponent's obstacles or whatever, anything they put in front of you. The Brandelis is just choose up to 2 forwards. Brandelis for 2 is actually a lot of fun, even if you don't manage to capitalize on his first effect. But so when he enters the field, choose up to 2 forwards your opponent controls. Deal each of them damage equal to its power minus 2,000. You can always close off those forwards with a Vanille special or Brynhilder, which is I think I did a few times, which is nice. Next is the Orphan, which again for 3 with Fang's ability is very nice. Being able to discard and dull things is just kind of helps bridge the gap that you're trying to reach to get to the the light everyone attacking and getting the value from Lightning's autos. The summons are pretty simple. It's triple Brynhilder, Amat, and Bahamut. Obviously the Amaterasu is kind of to stop your anything that's threatening, right? The Shantotos or things of that nature. Bahamut's I just find are very lovely cards for 2 CP. Just get over big obstacles. This is for like anti-aggro if you run into like a mirror, as well as anything silly stuff like Zidane or whatever. Again, and it's also there to help close out between Vanilles and the Brandelis. So and we'll talk about more how I utilize these cards a little bit better in other decks. But the Jill Nabat and the Lebreau, I asked myself, are these cards worth it now? But even without the names, it's hard. So I think the Jill Nabat plays a part. There's still some backups out there that kind of deal damage to you. So like Elvis for one of them, this helped me out a lot in one of those games against Soares when testing. This one still comes in clutch a little bit too. Give someone just enough K to outlive something. and so it's very helpful. My favorite parts about this deck too are that this Moogle can kind of color fix us right away. We don't have this luxury in the other versions. We have this old starter one. I never found a way to use the Mog, the Snow, and the Sarah that came in this starter. I didn't, to be honest. I could have tried a little harder, but I didn't see the need. I think the max value is what you get when you're playing these other cards. So this deck needed a searcher, and so it has this as well. This Time Mage is just there to kind of fill in the gap to try to get to a fire card. You have the triples as the Idolus and the Selfies. It needed some little EX burst recursion, and I found that to be something important if the game drags on, if your opponent's able to respond to the whole lightning combo early on. And while you're trying to recover or and your opponent's coming in, hitting stuff like these would help a lot. It also helps, as you're developing boarding and trying to stabilize, you're able to get back your Orphan, your Sarah, or even a Snow to fish out the lightning and stuff. Same thing with the Selfie. If you need the Vanille or the Fang, the Fang's too important to not be able to recur, which is why we have the Selfies. But yeah, as a reminder, all of these deck lists are going to be in the description below, guys, so don't forget to, you can just grab them there. Next is the Lightning version. The Lightning version, again, very similar. This is the first iteration, again, and this focuses more on the OTK as opposed to, a more balanced deck. And again, I'll show you where mine is after this. But yeah, as you'll see, the Fang, Lightning, and Vanille core is still the same. We're playing the Godot as well. This one has the 4-cost Noel from Opus 10. When he attacks, activate Noel, and Noel can attack again. This effect will only trigger once per turn. And if you have Sarah, then the card named Sarah Yukino cannot be chosen by summons abilities. Now, this guy, if you're able to get him out on turn 1, so you drop Fang, a Fang effect, pitch Null, and you have Lightning in hand, or a way to get Lightning turn 2, then, it's very, very troublesome for your opponent. That's it's good enough, right? You either drop the Fang, or you drop Fang into Godot or Fang into Null. Either way, you have to have some way to, speed up or give haste the next turn. So there's a lot of potential with these two cards to do the OTK. And then obviously the Hopes, which is probably one of my favorite things about the Lightning version. You have more searchers in this. So we have the Vanille, we have the Hope, and we have the Lumina. These 3 cards just make it so you're always able to get the right piece, and I think that's where the Lightning one outshines the Ice version. I like having this Sid Reigns. He's just a good out if things get like sticky or they go too long. His cost and his actual cost, and the fact that Fang can make him a 4-cost makes him really. It doesn't make it feel so bad when you cast this card. So I like to play. So I always, not always, but I like to play it at 3 at this time. Especially when you're going for the OTK, something like this just to drop and remove it when you're not seeing. You need a Lightning out and a Fire out, so those are your keys here. The summons didn't change too much in this one. The Brynhildr, the Amat. We do have a Ramu here for a few instances, right? If we're able to have this Vanille and then turn 2 we drop the Null and the Lightning and we're able to cast this, give a Lightning forward haste, or give Null or Hope or Sid Reigns haste on later turns and damage. That stuff's helpful. Being able to dull something for less or break a monster or 7k, it's just another easy way to remove obstacles again. And then the Bahamut's, of course, which are great. This one has Maki and the Lebro instead of the, what's her name? Instead of the Jill. The Maki, honestly, we don't use it much. It's outside of just being the name, it's very. You leave it up because you can threaten things with, the Hope or the Sid Reigns or the Null up, but it's rare. You don't really need it. The Lumina is also, again, our searcher. We have 2 searchers. I wish there's probably a world where we can have all the searchers in the deck and it functions much better, but we didn't get that far. And with Opus 19 out officially, we're gonna move along. Again, I don't doubt that this deck will continue to see play regardless of everything that comes out. We didn't get a lot of new additions to it, but I think there's only one Lightning, but you wouldn't replace it for this one. You would play it's a whole nother deck, right? But yeah. Some of the shining cards that I like in this version, or my text personally, that I didn't see so much were Reeve. When Reeve enters the field, choose a forward of cost 2 or less and you breaks him, play it onto the field. As long as Reeve is on the field, as long as it is on the field, Reeve does not activate during your active phase. yeah, that second part's not going to matter because if you bring back Fang or Lightning, they're going to be doing their thing. Lightning's going to be attacking. It's just a quick way to get them out if they're answered early on. And if they're answered again, that's fine. You just develop the backup and you got another card out of your opponent's hand. So as you're playing, this is still working for you. It's a simple add 2 of just so if you see it early, you can pitch it and then hopefully draw into the next one if you need it, or you see it down the line. The Aftermath is another one too. I think for when I was originally playing this, the Aftermath didn't feel so good, but it has the same concept, right? Choose a forward of at 3 damage, choose a forward of cost 3 or less in your break zone, play it onto the field. You can only use this ability during your turn. It's also to kind of get your 2 cost cards. It's just to see Fang and Lightning and maybe some of the backups. In the next version, I'll show you. We're also playing the 2 cost Null from the starter, which makes this a little more viable. But again, the idea is to being able to recur the Fang or the Lightning when necessary, or on turns that you need to go wide after you have some setup or whatnot. And then again, same concept, triple Zaz. You want the EX burst. You have a lot of helpful summons. And then instead of Klangully, we just replaces the Idolus, and then another Selfie. But yeah. Now, I'm going to talk about, I think these are the tech cards that I have listed up here. So the tech cards are things that I've seen around, I've played, I've tested, or I think those are pretty much the only, or some that I speculate, right? First is the Cindy, another easy 2 lightning cost that just kind of helps remove obstacles. We don't care if we take damage, we're going for game, right? So anything that helps us get things faster helps us out. The Vanille, recently in the L3 Japanese Masters or something, someone was playing the 13 deck with 6 Vanilles, and it happened to add to Vanille Special. If you're unsure how it works, casting this twice does stack the modifiers or whatever stack. So first one will deal 4k, next one will deal 8k. So you can clear a board for 12k if you're... There's a lot of extra rules there that I'm not going to get into right now, maybe in another video, in terms of damage and resolution and priority on stacking modifiers, blah, blah, blah. But the simplest way is people take 12k. So you would play 3 of these because this lightning card jumps. You can just pitch it anyway if it's dead to play your other lightning cards, and then hopefully you can see it back and recur it with the Sid of Clan Gully. The Squall is another. The Squall pairs with some of the cards that I play, which is Salamander, and I've seen and I adopted the 2-headed dragon because you need a few more ways to. I mean, if you have an empty Vanille, the way people play and the way I've found it that people respond to your deck is they kill your Fang, they kill your Lightning, but Vanille always stays on the board, right? So if you're able to have another Vanille, right, and then something that deals board damage, you can board clear and cause another problem for your opponent after they've responded to your effects. After they've responded to getting rid of Lightning and Fang and so what. So cards like Salamander, cards like Squall, and cards like 2-headed dragon are there to answer that. Also, if you're just all fire forwards, this helps a lot. Along with, it just has utility, right? Goblin's another one I saw a few times when testing. It's just a one of when you're ready to. You can just load them up while you're developing board. If you for whatever reason you haven't drawn the answers, I'm not opposed to the idea of adding a Goblin engine to a deck, right? Again, mainly because Vanille has that option to help with removal, as well as being able to get more of these on board. The backup gets you Lightning. There's some synergy there, right? Something that can be explored. The Spectral Keeper is also another good one that I haven't tested, but I've seen and I've enjoyed. It's just a problem card at the beginning of the attack phase, and later he becomes a forward too, so it just adds to the pressure that the deck already provides. It also dodges the Ixions, because it stays as a monster, so monsters like these help out whenever. And the Paravir, which is one of our local Carmona techs, when you're ready to pop off, dropping a Paravir kind of lets your opponent know that they're kind of screwed. It also helps you bait out. So if you're not sure what this does, when Paravir enters the field, all forwards you control cannot be broken this turn. So there's a few instances where this was just crushing because your opponent they're waiting for something, right? They're waiting for you to attack to be dull to Sephiroth, or they're waiting for you to develop the board, right? or whatever. And so if you're at a good point where you're doing this, and you have multiples or copies of things, you're able to do this main phase 1. They'll, you bait out whatever, and then main phase 2, or before you attack, you just go, all right, I'll play the lightning again, or I'll use Reeve or Alpha to bring out the lightning again. And so, it really helps out. The other thing this kind of shuts down is all those pesky EX bursts, right? It's just whatever you run into, it doesn't matter. You can laugh at all of your opponent's EX bursts when you drop this card. So, anyway, my deck, these are the tech cards that I've seen and tested and that I like. I already explained Reeve and Afmao. So, this is what my deck looks like currently. Again, all of these lists will be in the description. We have the Fang, 2 Vanille, 2 Null, 3 of the 2-cost Null, Lightning, Vanille, Godot, Squalls, Hope. Yeah, we have the 2 Sid Reigns here. We cut it down because just to make space for a lot of extra cards. Cut down the Brynhilders as well. Amaterasu's still add 1 Salamander, Bahamut, 2 2-headed. The backups kind of stayed the same. We cut the Reeves in this version, but I think I might go back to at least 1 Reeve because I missed it a few times. Again, this is a little more developed. This is your final thoughts. The deck is very good. I like it. I like what it does. It's threatening. It threatens a lot of decks on turn 1, and some decks just can't answer it, unfortunately. That's it for me, guys. I like the list. If you have any thoughts or anything you want to add, please make sure to leave it in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like and give some like and drop a comment and help support the channel. If you have any questions about matchups and stuff like that, always feel free to hit me up, or if there's changes, you can always reach out to me. That's it for the Opus 13 update. I'm sorry, Category 13 starter deck update. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you like it, and we will talk later.